Hello and welcome to this podcast on supply chain. I'm your host Salman. We have recently seen debacle in supply chain management due to COVID related issues and with respect to ordering, delivery, shortages, and price hikes. We would like to address some of it and wanted to table some challenges and remedies taken up to mitigate or alleviate the damage the least. Let me introduce the panel. My name is Salman, and I have been with the related industry for over 2 decades, working globally with some of the largest corporations around the world. And I have the pleasure of having Mr. Aftab Khan, having extensive background in the field of supply chain management. I would let Aftab introduce himself, and we will then move into the main discussion. Welcome, Aftab.
Thanks, Salman. Hi, I'm Aftab Khan. My career spans over 4 decades in supply chain management across several functions and geographies. It's a pleasure to be joining you to share our experiences on the topics that we are discussing today.
Thank you, Aftab. I guess supply chain delays have been plaguing the industry, and I'd like to share some of my personal experiences. I deal a lot with ordering equipment globally, and the challenge with those orders are of lead times, on time deliveries, price hikes related to material prices, and foreign exchanges, to say the least. One of the strategies that we have used to alleviate or delayed shipments due to logistical issues was to have an intermediate storage, whereby we leased a series of warehouses and started receiving deliveries and in certain cases preponing deliveries instead of receiving the complete assemblies as such. This strategy heavily paid off as we were able to deliver all the desired equipment on time and we were able to deliver those things to the final destination, which was a greenfield site. I'm telling you, like, if we hadn't done that, we would have delayed projects by years and thereby losing the market share as well as paying heavy penalties to other parties based on agreed upon deliveries as well as contracts. Having said that, I'll now switch to Aftab and share his insights. Over to you, Aftab.
Thank you, Salman. COVID has changed lives and businesses in many ways. Take the uncertainty in supply and demand, for example. This, coupled with higher costs, has caused an imbalance in inventory around the world as buyers tried to extend their cover based on current demand, only to end up with unwanted product as their demand changes. One of the most important lessons that businesses have learned is that they can no longer be a single product or even single segment company to grow. The demand for products and services has moved from luxury items to necessities. Therefore, companies must cater to the base of the supply chain pyramid, which is similar to Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of human needs, with base comprising the physical needs, then moving up to social needs and so on. The pandemic has dropped the demand median to lower tiers of the hierarchy. Therefore, a company with deeper vertical has a higher chance of survival than a company that serves the higher tiers only. And while you cannot turn your profile around on a dime, product rationalization and strategic sourcing are good places to start with.
Thanks, Aftab. That sounds very relevant and I would say pertinent. I want to have some more insights into the concept of linear versus integrated and vertical supply chains, as I see that this issue is one of the major causes of disruptions in today's times. I believe supply chains are very laid back and demand predictability is slow, thereby hard to make or modify changes in cases where we need to change it or reallocate deliveries at the last moment. You know that I'm saying mainly this in the context of COVID, where traditional product portfolios shifted massively, and things like home furniture, home-based office supplies, all those online deliveries really swapped the regular demand patterns. I think it further deteriorated. This system happened in the wake of short labor supplies as well as shipping backlogs. Also, in my observation, big companies were able to reallocate their supplies since they had multiple sources, and small companies also kind of survived since they mainly relied on local sourcing. But I see that major challenges was with medium-sized companies due to their lack of multiple or local sourcing. After, what's your point of view on that? And do you see any lessons learned on this situation?
So, Salman, we talked about the need for businesses to diversify their product portfolios to include the base of the supply chain pyramid. Now, that is the front end of the business. Similarly, from a sourcing perspective, which is the back end or inbound supply chain, the focus should be on reliability and efficiency. Therefore, a balanced portfolio of suppliers is essential, both in terms of their numbers and locations. And from an overall supply chain management perspective, I would like to add that agile and responsive supply chains have emerged more successful and have suffered fewer setbacks than others. Investment in training and continuous improvement lead to sustainable growth.
Yes, Aftab, that is a great observation and a very valid suggestion. I just want to add one more thing before we conclude this discussion. That is the usage of more and more AI technologies to improve demand predictability and eventually creating more nimble supply chains. I believe that this is the future and a very vital tool in the supply chain survival kit. With that, we come to the end of this podcast. Thanks for listening and stay tuned for more podcasts on current and relevant supply chain topics to keep you updated and abreast of the latest challenges that the industry is facing. Bye bye.